These people are the ones right back there, second to last row. You're not in.
Oh, it's almost time.
Okay.
Okay. Emails that are bad from people in DC. Very anymore. It goes back to your emails.
Ready?
We'll have to get Adam to get this. So he can retrieve them for me. Can you ask him?
Surprise her.
Or do I-
Good evening. I'd like to call the Tuesday, April 7th, 2015 City of Oldsmar City Council meeting to order. If you would please rise for our invocation and our pledge that would be done by our city attorney, Mr. Tom Trask.
Heavenly Father, as we exercise the right of self-government that we enjoy as free citizens of the United States, we pause to thank you for the freedoms given to us by the generations of patriots that have preceded us and who risked their lives so that we may live as free men and women. We pray for the members of the armed services for the sacrifices that they are making, and that you will continue to comfort the families of those injured or killed while serving our country. We are hopeful that your grace and love will be with those who have suffered and with those present here tonight who share in their pain and loss. This we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and once again, welcome. Our first order of business is the Citizens Open Forum, where it allows you to address the City Council. We only have a couple of rules. You state your name and address clearly for record. Keep it to no more than 5 minutes. And you can address items on the agenda, but if they are public hearings, we would just ask that you hold those comments until such time as we have the public hearing for those. Having said that, anyone on this side of the room would like to address the council? Nope. Oh, sorry, Jerry. You forgot which side of the room you were on?
Oh, no, I was short.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jerry Antozzi, 509 Shore Drive East. I'd like to thank Gabby McGee for leading the Oldsmar Historical Society tour this past Saturday. We had 33 participants. Beautiful day. They enjoyed seeing the architecture in the homes. Refreshments were provided by Gabby and the Oldsmar Women's Club. So they're asking when the next walk's going to be, but it's getting hotter, so it'll be toward the fall. The second thing I'd like to bring up, this coming Saturday, April 11th, the Oldsmar Historical Society is having their meeting right here in the 1918 Bank Building at 10 a.m., and it gives everyone a chance to meet all our librarians the city has had.
Wow.
So Orchid Rogers was a volunteer librarian. Our library directors that have been paid is Nancy Mulligan, and she'll be here. She was our first, and our second library director and current library director is Bert Weber. So they can tell us the history of the library in town, and we'll capture it on video. But please come out, it's free, and hope to see you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody on this side? Anybody on this side of the room? Either one, ladies first.
Hi, I'm Crystal Rush. I live at 2868 Wesleyan Drive, Palm Harbor. I'm working with the Chamber, and we are putting on a 5K race, Run for the Warriors. We're going to be doing it in working with the Freedom Fest, and I just am coming as a representative for the race and for this amazing organization, and I just would like to see what I can do to be a part of the community and be here to answer your questions, and hopefully we can get the support of the community.
Good. Thank you. Yeah, we'll definitely, because that's something we can put on our website as well to get the word out of the chambers. You
Would
got
you
it on
like
yours,
me to
Jerry?
give you the information?
Yeah, what day and time?
It's
so
gonna be
everyone
on
knows?
Sunday, May 24th in the morning with the Freedom Fest
Perfect.
going on. Thank you
Awesome.
guys so
Very-
much.
It's a great group. Thank you.
So-
It is a really great group.
Really good. Some great people in there. Saw another hand? Yes, sir?
Good evening. Jerry Brown, 9127 79th Avenue North, Seminole, Florida. Honorable Mayor, council members, city staff, citizens. The handouts I have given you have a lot more information than what I can talk to you about in 5 minutes. It has information about my webpage, worldpovertyupordown.org, and also an article about William Wilberforce, who in 1833 led the effort to peacefully end physical slavery in the British Empire with a 9-word law. I'm here today to ask you to attend a meeting with Representative David Jolly to support his efforts in passing a 12-word law in the U.S. Congress that can peacefully end world poverty, which is now causing economic slavery for 3.6 billion people. This 12-word law simply states that it's illegal to import goods from 132 nations not requiring $1 an hour minimum wage. It's a safety net wage for half of the people in the world. As the world's largest importing nation, only the United States can establish this law and enable 132 nations that do not have the power to raise their minimum wages or safety regulations on their own. The reason that they cannot do this unilaterally is based on an economic fact of life, which states that multinational corporations like Walmart and thousands of others must produce their goods at the lowest possible price or they will be forced out of business. If one of these 132 nations dared to raise their minimum wages, the multinational corporations will simply move their factories and their orders to the next nation with the lower wages and regulations. World economist Garrett Brown calls this the race to the bottom, and this is a race that is causing poverty and deflation and mass migration worldwide. This race to the bottom has caused many terrible situations, like in Bangladesh in 2013 when a sweatshop factory collapsed and killed 1,200 women and children who are working for just 11 cents per hour. Yes, the law will cost us 25 cents more for a Bangladesh shirt, but now there will be 3.6 billion more people buying our goods as they are now finally making a minimum wage. It is the Christian, moral, and right thing to do to help our poverty nations from around the world. Either we pass this law and support this nation to increase their wages all at the same time, or the other half of the world's population will be pulled down to their poverty levels. And this is called deflation. It's happening right now, big time in the USA and Europe. If we continue to do what we've always done, we will continue to get what we've always gotten. More desperate people living in poverty, willing to go to war, illegal migration to safer nations like ours. It is also in our own financial interest to pass this 12-word law, as it will give the world's economy a $7 trillion 10% shot in the arm. This will cause wages to increase worldwide and immediately stop deflation. Better yet, no new taxes, big government, agencies, or welfare system is required. We recently met with Representative Jolly, and he encouraged us to invite all area city council members and clergy leaders to attend a meeting at Aldersgate United Methodist Church on Starkey Road in Seminole to hopefully announce his efforts to get this 12-word law enacted. I will email each of you more information when the meeting is set up. This is truly a nonpartisan, non-denominational worldwide issue. I thank you for your support. Hope to see you all soon.
Thank you. Do you have our contact information, or at least our city clerks?
It's on the page there, and I will be emailing you more
Do you have her information, though?
I'm sure it's
Okay.
on the web.
She's
Yes,
got a
sir.
card.
And Jerry, you said Representative Jolly is working on the
Yes, we had a great meeting with him about 4 weeks ago, and I have about 5 more councils to go talk to.
nice.
Good.
So see
Thank
what
you.
we can do.
She's got a card for you if you want.
Okay, great.
I don't think our website has emails because we get spammed if we have them on there. Anybody else on this side of the room? Anybody else in the room that I missed? Seeing no one, we'll close the citizens open forum real quickly. We'll do the mayor's minute, just a couple of things. The city manager and myself had a great visit with County Commissioner Janet Long, who represents the city of Oldsmar as part of her district. We took her around and her assistant and toured the city, saw many of the facilities. She was somewhat unfamiliar, although she was here Saturday in the parade, so saw part of it, but really appreciated the history and the knowledge. And we were only able to do about half of our tour, so she's going to come back and be able to do that. And so really excited about it. Oldsmar Days and Nights was a huge success. I don't know the numbers, but my guess would be that it was a record crowd. And again, we continue to expose the city of Oldsmar to people that have never been here or participated in some of our events. So thanks to the chamber and all the volunteers that helped put that on together. Also, by the front door as you leave, we're again participating in the Mayor's Challenge for water conservation. It could actually win you a Prius. And so go on to the website, it's on that page, or you can go to myoldsmar.com. We have it on there as well. Well, last year we finished 5th in the nation for cities of our size, so that's great. And currently we're sitting in the number 2 position. So water conservation is definitely something that's important. Also, this coming Saturday, April 11th, Oldsmar Safety Harbor Relay for Life is going on, trying to kill cancer, and it's free admission. It's at Canal Park. Starts at 11 o'clock or 3 o'clock and goes till 11. In years past, it's gone overnight, so they've modified it. We encourage those that may have lost someone to cancer or battling it or know somebody that is to come out and bring family members to support and walk the laps for those people. Also, our annual Oldsmar Cup Day at the Races is coming up this coming Sunday at Tampa Bay Downs. We've moved it. The gates open at 11 a.m., post time at 12:30. Free admission for residents. Just bring something that indicates that you live in the city of Oldsmar, a water bill, your driver's license. So come on out and do that. I talked to the developers of Thornton's at the corner of Tampa Road and Racetrack Road to get an update on that. It's moving along great, and the tentative opening date for that is May 1st. So we continue to see development in the area, and also the development next to that is retail. I talked to the developer of that, and although they don't have anybody in there, they have basically filled it up. So they're just working on leases and agreements and things like that. So an exciting time in the city of Oldsmar. That's the mayor's minute. Next is our community redevelopment agency. We only have one item and reschedule the work session on Market Square, and I believe Bruce has 2 dates for us.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The suggested dates would be Thursday, April 16th or Thursday, April 23rd. And I think based on some comments I got earlier, the 16th would be the preferred date, if that works for everybody.
I'm out of town with Lynn on the 23rd, so the 16th would work for me.
I'm out of town the 23rd also.
Okay.
Works.
16th is good for me.
Good for me. Good for everybody. 16th it is.
4 p.m., Thursday, April 16th. We'll be here in the council chamber work session room. Thank you.
Thank you. Consent docket, 3 items. Approved minutes of the January 20th, 2015 city council meeting. Approved purchase of carpet for City Hall. We currently have dirt floors over there, so we're now going to carpet it.
Yeah.
Fourth is to accept resignation of Councilmember Seidel from the Board of Adjustments and Firefighter Pension Board. We have to do that because now he's on the city council. So does anybody wish to pull anything? If not, I need a motion.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Thank you. Next is the City of Oldsmar. We have some guests here tonight for a presentation of Above and Beyond Award from the Department of Defense. Good evening. Welcome.
Evening. Good to see you again, Mr. Mayor.
Good to see you.
Seems like it was just yesterday we were
Yeah.
here. For those of you that are unfamiliar, I think you've been briefed on what we are. Colleen and I am retired Colonel Roger Trout. That's my wife, Colleen, my first sergeant. You know who runs this outfit, right? I'm old enough to know that. We represent the employer-supported Guard and Reserve, which is an office of the Department of Defense. Basically, we're the point people between business and the Department of Defense, created back when we went to an all-volunteer army, or all-volunteer military, sorry. You know what branch I came out of then. For those of you that weren't here, we were here February 3rd to present a Patriot Award to one of your great employees, Lisa Ray, who's here tonight. Lieutenant Melanie Grigsby put her in for a Patriot Award, which essentially says she goes above and beyond in supervising her Guard and Reserve folks, because we all know it takes, the individual to want to serve, but it takes family and it takes the employers to make it happen. At that presentation, it was really interesting because that conversation, if you remember, we had with Jerry brought up the fact that that during the Gulf War, the first Gulf War, back in '90, you had some folks go off and told them that your job's here, you continue to get paid, you continue to get your benefits, and that struck a chord in me because the Above and Beyond Award was created by Department of Defense to recognize folks for doing just that kind of thing. And so I thought that was pretty interesting. So I had a conversation right after that meeting on February 3rd with Lieutenant Grigsby, and I said, I think, maybe we need to think about this. And she jumped right on it. I mean, she's Navy, but that's okay. Voted too, so we have to congratulate her. But anyhow, she jumped right on it, petitioned the chair of the ESGR committee in Florida and the DOD to present you with the Above and Beyond Award. It's given in limited quantities to those local employers who go above and beyond the requirements of the law by providing non-mandated benefits such as differential or full pay and extended benefits while on duty. At least one supervisor within the organization has to have received the Patriot Award, so in part because of Lisa that we're even here. Another requirement is signing a statement of support, which we'll get to that in a minute. But anyhow, I am really pleased to be able to present to the city of Oldsmar the Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve Above and Beyond Award, presented on behalf of the men and women of the National Guard and Reserve Forces for outstanding service and continuing support to the national defense.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's pretty special. But
In addition,
oh,
everyone gets their own.
so when was the last time any of you folks was pinned?
Nice.
You're about to get pinned, right?
I love pins.
Especially by a beautiful woman. I'm not stupid.
That was very nice.
While she's doing that, the one thing I'll have the mayor sign, and no, it's not your draft notice, sir. But this is a statement of support for the Guard and Reserve. It's what you really are doing now, but it's something that in a plaque that you can hang out here. It says, we recognize the Guard and Reserve are essential to the strength of our nation and the well-being of our communities. In the highest American tradition, the patriotic men and women of the Guard and Reserve serve voluntarily in an honorable and vital profession. They train to respond to their community and their country in time of need. They deserve the support of every segment of our society. If these volunteer forces are to continue to serve our nation, increased public understanding is required of the essential role of the Guard and Reserve in preserving our national security. Therefore, we join with other employers in pledging that we fully recognize, honor, and enforce the Uniformed Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Act. We will provide our managers and supervisors with the tools they need to effectively manage those employees who serve in the Guard and Reserve. We appreciate the values, leadership, and unique skills service members bring to the workforce, and will encourage opportunities to employ guardsmen, reservists, and veterans. And we will continually recognize and support our country's service members and their families in peace, in crisis, and in war. It's signed by Chuck Hagel, and as soon as they give us a new one for the Secretary of Defense, I'll be
Had a little turn over
very happy to give it to you.
Awesome.
Nice.
You need to sign next to his signature.
I need to sign it? Okay.
We even have a
Thank you. Thank you for so much for it.
Awesome. That's great. I didn't put the date on it, but
We all serve. Well, we honor it. So.
wow, we're full of plaques. And, but, wanna see
You know
it?
Debbie's going
like a
to
picture with the mayor.
What do you want? Where? Who?
down there.
Who do you want? I'm sorry. Okay.
Get Melanie in a chair. She's in uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it cool? It's really pretty. I like it.
I gotta say, well, I'm here to accept the award as the mayor. It's really the city of Oldsmar and all the staff and the city manager that for years has supported our military, because without the support of our military and allowing them to go protect our country, we would not be able to be here and do what we do today. There are men and women all over the world today keeping us free in this great country, and so we thank them for that, and I thank the city for the support of our military.
Go on up here, I'll take. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
is really nice. Very supportive.
Terrific. Next, we have a proclamation. We have two tonight. Our first one is a presentation of proclamation of National Library Week. I think this is the one. Vice Mayor, would you do the honor?
Sure. Whereas libraries create potential and possibilities within their communities, campuses, and schools, and whereas libraries level the playing field for all who seek information and access to technologies, and whereas libraries continuously grow and evolve in how they provide for the needs of every member of their community, and whereas libraries and librarians open up a world of possibilities through innovative STEAM programming, maker spaces, job-seeking resources, and the power of reading. And whereas librarians are trained, tech-savvy professionals providing technology training and access to downloadable content like ebooks, and whereas libraries support democracy and affect social change through their commitment to provide equitable access to information for all library users, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, and socioeconomic status. And whereas libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating National Library Week. Now, therefore, I, Doug Beavis, Mayor of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, do hereby proclaim the week of April 12th to the 18th, 2015, as National Library Week in the City of Oldsmar, and encourage all residents to visit the library this week to take advantage of the wonderful library resources. Unlimited possibilities are at your library. Dated this 7th day of April, 2015.
Awesome, thank you. And it goes to Bert.
Hey, Bert.
I'm going to ask everyone who comes to the library next week to be sure to help us out with our special project. We are putting together an Oldsmar cookbook, and we would like to have all the residents submit recipes. You can do it online at oldsmarlibrary.org, or you can come into the library and pick up the form.
Awesome, that's great. Thank you.
Bert. Thanks.
Our next item is a proclamation for Water Conservation Month. I'll go ahead and read that. Water Conservation Month, whereas water is a basic essential need of every living creature, and whereas the state of Florida, water management districts, and the city of Oldsmar are working together to increase awareness about the importance of water conservation, and whereas the city of Oldsmar and the state of Florida have designated April, typically a dry month when water demands are most acute, as Florida's Water Conservation Month, to educate citizens about how they can help save Florida's precious water resources, and whereas the city of Oldsmar has always encouraged and supported water conservation through various education programs and special events, and whereas from April 1st through April 30th, 2015, the city of Oldsmar wishes to inspire its residents and its neighboring communities to take the National Mayor's Challenge for Water Conservation by pledging for water and reduce their impact on the environment. And whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can make a difference when it comes to conserving water, and whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can help by saving water and thus promote a healthy economy and community. Now, therefore, I, Doug Beavis, Mayor of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2015 as Water Conservation Month in the City of Oldsmar, and call upon all citizens and businesses to help protect our precious resources by practicing water-saving measures and becoming more aware of the need to save water. Dated this 7th day of April 2015, Doug Beavis, Mayor. And Lisa, I'm giving that to you. Probably me. Shameless plug, Mayor's Challenge papers back there. Go ahead, I know you have a few words.
guess I'm supposed to use the mic, right?
Yeah.
We're very fortunate in Florida. We do have a lot of water resources, and we've been conserving them very well for decades now. All you have to do is look at what's happened in California to know what happens when you don't conserve your water. And we've done a really good job in this area and in this city to do just that. So let's keep up the good work.
Thank you. All right. Our next item is presentation from the Centennial Committee. There goes Dan.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council team, and good evening, Mayor. It's hard to believe that it was March of 2014, Ann Nixon and Debbie Pauley, I don't know where she went, oh, there she is. They asked me to be the chair of the 2016 Oldsmar Centennial. At first I was like, wow, that's crazy. But what an honor to be involved in such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's the volunteers, it's the people in our city. It's my neighbors, it's your neighbors, the people that come to the meetings, that are getting involved. It's very powerful and very heartwarming, and I'm thankful for all their help and their support they're giving for the Centennial. With that, I'm going to turn this over to my vice chairs, Jerry Antozzi and Darlene Lezier. Come on up. Jerry's going to go first. We have a presentation that we want to present to the council over there. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. I can see it's on the monitor too. We are so excited about the Centennial that's coming up, and we have a couple of slides to go through. The first one that you see on the screen, I'm just going to highlight some of the pictures. And the very first one to the left at the bottom is a picture of the pier. So back in the early 1920s, the Bergert brothers went around not only Oldsmar, Hillsborough, Pinellas County, Clearwater, taking pictures. So this picture is from the early 1925. It shows our 1,000-foot pier that went out into the bay. It was wide enough to hold 2 cars. And the boat that you see is a way for those that were going to buy homes in Oldsmar to come. And when they came into Oldsmar, they'd see the beautiful grounds, and then they'd see the direct path of Park Boulevard straight downtown. The next picture on the bottom, my right, is a picture of a man standing in front of the grand entrance to Oldsmar. It's dated March 1925, and it says the entrance to a development. That entrance was really where Lafayette met Tampa Road. And if you went down Lafayette Boulevard, it was going to be where the Grand Hotel was going to be, which was Kumar's house that went down, that we don't have anymore. But if you go down Lafayette, it leads right into Veterans Park, our Veterans Park. At the top right, you see Ransom Eli Olds. He's the founder of Oldsmar. He was born in June of 1864. He was born a few months before President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. So during his early years, he said it was a dark years to grow up, because right about that time too, is the ending of the Civil War. So he was born in Geneva, Ohio, one of 5 kids. And when he was about 15 years old, he moved to Lansing, Michigan. While he was there, he worked in his father's shop. And by 15, he was getting to the age that they thought he had the responsibility of taking care of the family horse, Old Bess. Well, taking care of a horse, so you should know from the racetrack here, there's more to take care of a horse than to feed it and everything. So he's looking at the horse, he's looking at the carriage, he realizes the horse is the weak link. So with his dreams and everything, it makes those entrepreneurs, those inventors, got the idea of going with a horseless carriage. And they used to always call him sometimes Crazy Olds when he tried these different experiments, but they started to work. He became an automobile tycoon. He created the Oldsmobile. He really had the first mass production assembly line, and that was about 1901. And thank goodness he had a dream. Even when he was younger, he had a dream, and he had a dream when he was older. And he founded Oldsmar. But we'll go to the next slide. The Centennial Committee has a mission statement. The city has a mission statement. It gives us a focus of where we're headed. And our mission statement is to help our citizens learn and honor our history and present community and present community through, and I better read my paper instead of that. It's kind of small. Here, just a minute. To help our citizens learn and honor our history and present community through fun, family-oriented activities and venues, resulting in our community contributing to a tangible legacy as we move into the future. Right here, you see Ransom Eli Olds. I didn't say, but when he grew up, he didn't like Rainey. He was Rainey as a young boy, and he was given Ransom Eli Olds when he was born. But as he got older, he wanted everyone to know he wanted to be called R.E. So this is R.E. Olds on the left. On the right, you see he's driving a Rio car. And in the car, in the back seat, is the 26th President of the United States, is Theodore Roosevelt.
That's cool.
And this was the first time that President Theodore Roosevelt took a ride in public in a car. So it's nice to capture that. Now, this next one. This is fun. I've been going up to the city archives, and I help. And one of the reasons I help is I find out what's in the storage up in the city. And so right around December, this past December, I went into this brown box, and there was this brown booklet. And if you know people who own the older homes in town, they have these booklets. They're the abstracts. It's the abstracts of everyone who's owned that house. So up there in the city archives was this book. And I was working with Fran Elliott. I said, Fran, this is a Christmas present. I said, I've looked at the big title sheet from the title insurance company. It tells you all the history of the land of Oldsmar, even when Andrew Jackson gave the land to Florida. You know, it goes back that far. And then you open up the book, and then here's all the words, all the deeds. And so I'd say a couple months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, Dan comes to me, and he had been at a meeting. He said, you know, that meeting stopped. He says, Jerry, we couldn't go any further. When was Oldsmar born? I go, born? Well, when did R.E. Olds buy the land? He bought 37,541 acres. When did he buy it? I said, oh, I know where the book is. So we go upstairs, we go in the storage, bring it out, and I said, here it is. I said, but let's have Tom Trask, our city attorney, look. I said, this is it. It's right here. So we copied it, we sent it to Tom Trask. And sure enough, it's legal. R.E. Olds bought the land. It was conveyed to him April 12th, 1916. So the documents are there. And that's considered the birthday. So if you really think about it, this coming Sunday, Oldsmar is going to be 99 years old. But our big day, our big year is next year, right? Okay. So what you see here is a map from the early 1920s, and toward the bottom, you will see Oldsmar. The shoreline is like the center, the spokes of the wheel. And Oldsmar, it goes out like the spokes of a wheel, and it was planned by architect, town planner, and he was also a landscape architect. It was William Stiles. And R.E. Olds wanted to use his expertise in planning out the town. And as you can see, if you go down Park and the other streets, they're extra wide. He really put a lot of planning into the town. And as of today, it's a great town because of the earlier planning that was done.
I just worked that out. That's $10.65 an acre.
I know.
Is it still called Old Tampa Bay and Oldsmar Bay, or is that just back in the day?
That was back in the day. I know that's a 1920s map. So I was looking at that today where it says Old Tampa Bay, and the closer
Tampa Bay,
you...
Old Tampa Bay, Oldsmar Bay.
Exactly.
Right, but
So
it's not. It's just all Tampa Bay now.
as far as I know, but I can research that a little bit more. Yes. No, I noticed that as well.
It's Safety Harbor.
It's called Safety Harbor now, the upper part of Tampa Bay.
Yeah, we lost that.
We lost
We lost that war.
that. The Oldsmar Historical Society has a mission statement, and the Centennial is working with the Oldsmar the Centennial Task Force is part of the Oldsmar Historical Society. And our mission statement is very basic, and we try to classify, collect, protect, display items, records, photographs, events, and customs of the history of Oldsmar. And just like today, one of the earliest families, Marilyn Schornborn, came in with pictures. And if her grandfather came here with R.E. Olds when her father was 8 years old. And some of these families are seeing that the Historical Society is here and we're not going away. And so they're sharing things. They're actually giving things to us to protect and take care of. So that's very neat. What we have at the bottom here is for anyone that would like to get involved with the Centennial and want to join the Oldsmar Historical Society. If they join now, their $50 can take them through December 31st, 2016. So you get single or family membership, you get a benefit of a year and a half for the $50. You get 2 lapel pens. You all got pens today. Maybe at the end you might get another set of pens. I won't pen them on you, but you'll get another set. But you'll get an Oldsmar Historical Society pen and a Centennial pen, plus entry to the time capsule. And at this time, I want to turn the program over to Darlene, and she's going to continue with the time capsule.
Thank you, Jerry. Mayor and City Council, and all of the residents of Oldsmar that are here today and surrounding communities that may be here today. In 2016, the city of Oldsmar will be doing something spectacular, fantastic, amazing, and exciting. And we know at this time that the city of Oldsmar will be turning 100 years old. And I don't know about any of you or any of the residents that are here today, but I am excited. And the buzzword for 2016 that we can start now is catch on, because it's gonna take the residents, businesses, small and large corporations in town, as well as organizations, to be a part of this historical, memorable event. It's gonna take everyone. So with all this excitement that we have, I want to share with you what the Centennial Committee has put together. The first thing that we want to talk about is our time capsule. Our time capsule, it is on our website. You can go visit us at oldsmar100.com, and you can find out the information about our time capsule. What this will allow residents of Oldsmar to do is to leave a message. You can leave photos, you can leave a videography, you can submit it and we will print it on non-acidic paper, or you can submit a flash drive with information to your family, recipes. You could do information about fashion, information about historical things that has happened in your family, secrets, recipes, what have you. This is a great opportunity for young people to get on board and leave messages, or their parents or grandparents, businesses to leave information about their plans, their business plans, the customers, the ideas, facts, anything. Just leave a message. It is a time capsule that we will have on display right here, right downstairs beneath the staircase on State Street here. Folks can come in and see the display as we're putting that together. It will be sealed and not disturbed for 50 years. And if any of us are around, I plan to be here if I take care of myself really well, we'll be able to open that time capsule and find out all the wonderful information that is being left. Again, you can go on our website and register right now for the time capsule, and we ask for a donation. Also, there's information on there that you want to read, and if you have any questions, we will be available to answer that. So that's the first thing that we're very, very excited about. There's nothing that's going to be in the ground, so we made it really simple and easy. Also, the question has come up, well, in 50 years, will we have computers the way that we have, and how would you leave this information? Well, the answer is that we will have a laptop in the display with an adapter, and of course, if you have information that you want on your flash drive, we'll be able to hopefully bring that information up on display at the Historical Society. So that's one thing that we're doing that we are so excited about, is leaving information for family and friends. The next thing, Fifth Fridays. It is wonderful that we have 4 Fifth Fridays in the year of 2016. And we thought to put together some fun events that will allow music, activities, of course, food, bands, the whole gambit. We're inviting residents, communities surrounding Oldsmar, and everyone to catch on to the Fifth Fridays. Come out, have a great time. There'll be food vendors there. There will be arts and crafts vendors. Again, you can go on our website for the fee for food vendors as well as for the arts and crafts vendors. It's going to be wonderful. There are different themes that we have. The first theme is classic rock. For those classic rockers, there will be a lot of fun with that. There will be live entertainment. Also, Library Month. I'm sorry, the first one was History Month, so there'll be history as well as the classic rock. The second Fifth Friday will be Library Month, and then we'll focus on some great country music in the city of Oldsmar. On the next month will be Ice Cream Month, as we celebrate Ice Cream Month on a national level. Locally, we'll be doing some things that we are working on via sponsorships right now. So when that comes to fruition, everyone will know about that. But we will also have Caribbean Month. So we're gonna have Caribbean music, limbo, dancers. We're gonna make it just a fun island night in the city. Also, we're gonna have Oldsmar Parks Month, as well as rock and roll oldies music. So the Fifth Fridays have something for everyone, for the entire family, and we encourage everyone, again, to catch on to the excitement that's going around for 2016. The next slide is our Centennial Dinner Dance. And folks are already excited about this. I cannot believe the response that we are getting from city officials, that we are getting from businesses, Oldsmobile Club, and just everyone that is finding information about the wonderful Centennial Dance that we're gonna do at the Nielsen Media Ballroom. There's gonna be live music, it'll be a dinner, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. And that's the whole thing about the celebration. It's fun, it's exciting, it's amazing. And again, catch on, because if you don't, you'll miss all the excitement. It's a whole year of activities that are planned. The next event that we're looking at is the Oldsmobile Antique Auto Show. I have never seen so many beautiful vehicles, Oldsmobiles, classic cars that are just truly amazing, that date back years and years. I went online and saw the video of the amazing car show, and it's breathtaking to see such beautiful cars. You'll get a chance to come out, view the cars. It is truly, truly a family event. You can take pictures, there'll be food vendors, there'll be live music, the whole hoopla is free. And there'll be trolley services so that you don't have to worry about how you're going to park. We'll have trolley services for you from the parking lots that you can get to the event. So again, come out and support the Oldsmar Antique Auto Show.
Catch on.
Catch on. See, you got it, Mayor. That's the buzzword, catch on. Now, the Oldsmar Cup Race. We are, again, still sharing the excitement. I have never personally had an opportunity to go to see thoroughbred racing, and I do plan to attend. This is going to be something that is just so unique. It was founded by Janice Miller, which I unfortunately have not had an opportunity to meet her, but I've heard so many wonderful, wonderful, amazing things about Janice Miller and the Tampa Bay Downs. She founded this event about 5 years ago, and her purpose for this event was to get the city of Oldsmar involved, get on the track and get involved in wonderful, exciting thoroughbred racing. And she did just that. Now, we used to have this event probably sometime during the Oldsmar days. And it has been moved to be more accommodating, to have more people to attend. And also because we realized that the born date for the city of Oldsmar is April 12th. So there you go. It's more historical to have it during that time. So that's what we're doing. So we're looking forward again to having the race this year, April 12th. And the mayor's already given that information out. Of course, you can always go online and find out more information about that. Catch on. Right. Celebrate Oldsmar is always in September, and we know from this live music and food and fireworks and fun and festivities and enjoyment and residents and all the hoopla, all the communities that are going to be there celebrating the wonderful food vendors, cotton candy, popcorn, hot dogs, and you name it. It's just more festivities that we're contributing to the whole historical year for the city, and we do want everyone to be involved. So that's another event that we're going to have. The Oldsmobile Centennial Concert that's going to be held at the Tampa Bay Downs. Now, this is something that we've been working on, and I am just blown away completely because when I did the walkthrough at the Tampa Bay Downs, I had no idea that the facilities looked the way that they did. I've never been there before, and I had a chance to see where we are going to have a fantastic show. And I'm asking everyone that is watching and listening to meet us at the Winner's Circle for a fantastic concert that we're going to be having. Our goal is to have REO Speedwagon to play. That is our goal, and we're sticking to it. And we're going to be hopeful that we're going to be able to accomplish that. It's going to be a beautiful evening of just fantastic music. People will be able to enjoy all the facilities at the Tampa Bay Downs. And we're going to have fireworks, and it's just going to be wonderful and amazing. And if you are not excited yet, well, catch on, because it's coming. There'll be souvenirs that'll be given out that you can purchase, all types of tchotchkes that you'll be able to purchase, memorabilia that you and your family will be able to take home with you and just remember all the wonderful things, cookbooks, souvenir pens, and the whole gambit. And just a wonderful evening of fun music with family and friends and corporations and businesses and so forth and so on. Friends of the Library. Friends of the Library has just been doing so much. I'm so excited with everything that they have been doing. The cookbook is a wonderful thing. And again, if you haven't submitted your recipes, I'm sure you got some somewhere in the cabinet, on a bookshelf that you can submit. It's still time. The time period does not expire until June the 15th. So if you haven't submitted recipes, please do so. You can go online to the library. There's photo contests, children's coloring books. The library will exhibit photos of Oldsmar. There's health programs, how to live to 100. Yummy, that is wonderful. They're gonna have guest speakers on different things that you can do for wellness. And really, that's really what it's all about, is preventative care and to take better care of yourself, because that 100 is a beautiful number. There'll be canvases, bags, logos, pens, bookmarks, those things on sale, again, souvenirs that will be available as we celebrate our first city. So the library is doing a fantastic job. Again, I can't say it enough. The buzzword for 2016 is catch on. Catch on, catch on. Join the Centennial Task Force, because we need volunteers. It's wonderful to do this presentation and people to watch and hear and talk about it. But it's more amazing when you catch on and you get the excitement and you participate and you volunteer your times, because it cannot be one person doing this whole event for the series that we're doing for 2016. But we will need businesses, small and large. We will need residents. We will need everyone in surrounding communities to catch on to the excitement of what we're doing. Sponsorship opportunities are available. If you have a small business, a medium business, a large business, sponsors, we need you. We need you to help make this a successful event. There's a lot of activities that are planned, and it does cost for us to do this event. And we're just asking for everyone's help, because we're gonna make the marketing and the promotions and the excitement of this centennial celebration amazing. So on my last note, let's bring residents, businesses, organizations, surrounding communities together and catch on for the most exciting and historical event ever in the city of Oldsmar, our 100th year birthday celebration. If you need any more information or need to know how to catch on, go to our website, which is oldsmar100.com. Thank you so much.
Very good.
We're going to give you some pens.
And I made myself a note to talk to the guy from Stormbringer that has the contact for REO Speedwagon, and we had been given some good information about them and that they're on board, but we didn't have the date yet, so we'll try and shore that up.
If not, we'll just have to get Garth Brooks.
Yeah, okay, Garth, I'll call him. Yeah, he's back. And it's funny you mentioned 50 years from now, and I'm doing the math in my head and how old I'd be if I lived that long, but I kind of did it backwards, and you mentioned the flash drive and pictures. I'm thinking, so 50 years ago would have been 1975, and the speech would have been, bring your computer punch cards, bring your Polaroid pictures, bring your reel-to-reel tapes. And so it's exciting. And thank you so much to the Centennial Committee and everybody for your enthusiasm and your effort that you've gone in to make this such a great event. And we're going to catch on. So, our next item, excited about this promotion ceremony for Lieutenant Tom Brennan. Chief?
Yay.
Follow that. Catch on. Just want to take a couple of minutes tonight just to recognize a promotion that we had with the retirement of Lieutenant Tom Ott in January. We had a promotional process we went through the last year where we had 4 or 5 folks go through a promotional test sponsored by a third-party agency where they were tested on their tactical ability and their workmanship and some other things, and we had a ranking for that. One thing I did want to tell you was in Oldsmar, to be a lieutenant, instead of just being a lieutenant, you're also certified as a company officer, you're certified as a fire inspector, and you're certified as a state fire instructor. And we're the only community in Pinellas County that requires that. And we've had that for years. So a lot of work involved in doing this. The promotion process went through, And in January, after Lieutenant Ott retired, Tom Brennan was promoted to lieutenant, and he currently is assigned to A shift. Tom's familiar to Oldsmar. In 1983, he was a volunteer here. Grew up in the area. I think Al's played basketball with him. Yeah. So that's it. Tom's a known quantity. And that'll be it for tonight. Thank you. Tom's been around for a while. He has a passion for training. He served in other fire departments as training officers and district chiefs. But we did want to take the opportunity tonight to do two things. One, we want to allow him to get pinned his gold badge as a lieutenant. And I'll add one small thing to that. Tom and his crew started out this morning by meeting a 30-year-old male who was not breathing and had no pulse, who is now talking to his family in the ICU at Countryside Hospital. Nick, Janet, Jamie, Aaron, all helping with that today, so.
Yes, I will introduce. I'll start over here. This is my wife, Dawn. This is our 25th anniversary coming up May 19th, so we've been together 25 years. We have 4 children. Let's do this real quick. Everybody extend your right arm. Go ahead, everybody. Ready? And let's do the chop.
No.
Okay, here we go. All right. My 2 oldest are at Florida State. I have a junior. My oldest daughter, she's 21, a junior up there. My son's a freshman. He's 18 up there, 19, yes. That's right, they're all odd this year. I'm even this year. Okay, and then my 3rd daughter is Sarah. She's a 9th grader at Alonzo High School. And then my youngest daughter is Stephanie. She's a 7th grader, 13-year-old at Davidson Middle School. So that's my group.
Awesome.
And Sarah is going to pin.
Promise I won't hurt you. That's so sweet. I know.
Slide this way a little bit so we can get.
Hey, lady,
Okay, now we can.
they can still see you. Further down.
Yeah, they can see you. Just lay on the floor.
Go under the desk.
Nice.
There we go, Jim Michael Brad. Stragglers. Thank you.
All right, Nick.
Whole lot of pinning going on tonight.
I have a funny story too.
It's catching on.
Catching on.
I went to a garage sale in West Chase probably 6 months ago, and Tom's family was outside their house. I didn't know that he lived there, And Tom comes out, but he's not in his uniform, and he has a hat on and he's walking back and forth. And I said, "What does your husband do?" I said, "God, I know your husband." I said, I know him. It's going to drive me crazy. And I said, "Did he coach soccer?" Like, I was throwing all these things out there. And I said, I know him. And then he looks and he goes, "I know you." He said, "You're on city council." I said, I've never seen you not in your uniform.
When you see people not in their normal environment, you look at them and you go, "I know you from somewhere."
It's just a funny little
Yeah,
story
that's-
about Tom, but
That's great.
congrats.
Congratulations
It
again.
was his garage sale? It was his house?
Well, I was at his house, yeah, when my friends was buying some of his furniture.
That's funny.
Our next item is consider moving Dale Renbjor from the alternate member to full member of the Board of Adjustments. I believe some of us have met him. We've kind of modified this in the past in that we'd like him to be here. I don't believe he's here tonight.
No, he's not.
We'd like him to be here. It's up to you guys if we motion to move him. He's obviously come before us before as an alternate. If we motion, we'd like to, especially with new council members, like to have him meet him, but we obviously approved him as an alternate if you're okay.
And he has served as a voting member more than
I know
once.
Okay, as long as everybody's fine.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to make a motion,
So moved.
motion, second. All in favor? Aye. Passes, thank you. Consider the appointment of David Enos as an alternate member of the Board of Adjustments. Is David here? Yes. Yep. Come on up. Thank you for coming tonight. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this is one of the things that we like to do, especially since we have new council members or returning council members, is to come up and first thank you for wanting to be a part of one of our boards. I've said this in the past that the city, us as a council and the city staff would not be able to function as great as we do without the volunteers on many organizations that we have. And I just want to thank you for that. Does anybody have any questions of David?
Just lots of thanks.
Thank you for serving.
Lots of thanks.
And the Board of Adjustments is there are some various levels of boards, but that's an interesting one. So
If you look at his bio, he was on the West Chase Board of Directors, and that cannot be an
this will
easy
be a
task.
cakewalk.
This will
is
be a cakewalk.
And I made a point of telling Dave, who I happen to know, about all of the big rewards for serving on that board. And so right after we vote him in, staff may want to meet with him and tell him the rest of that.
The rest of the story. No, I appreciate the opportunity.
I hope you like chicken. That'll probably be one of the rewards. That'll be good.
It sounds good.
Yeah. If there's no questions, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Thank you again for
Very much.
volunteering.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is our city attorney.
Mayor, council members, item number 12 is the second and final public hearing and approval of amendment to Hayes Park Village Development Agreement. It's my understanding that there is a need to postpone this to the meeting on the 21st, but since it is a noticed public hearing, if there's anyone here on this agenda item and you'd like to speak, you can step forward at this time and speak on this particular issue. We'll answer any questions that you have if you have
Does
any.
anybody wish to address this issue? If not, we'll be holding the meeting on April 21st, 2015, and you're welcome to come to that meeting as well.
Right. So with that, I would turn it over to you, Mayor, with the understanding that it was going to be postponed so that it could,
No action is needed from us.
just the motion,
A motion to move? I need a motion to
Make a
move.
motion to postpone it until April 21st.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes 5-0. Thank you.
thank you. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Next, city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item is the presentation and acceptance of the annual financial report and audit for the last fiscal year ending September 30th of 14. And with us this evening is John Hauser, auditor and a partner with Wells, Hauser and Schatzel. He'll make the presentation tonight.
Thank you, Bruce. Good evening, Mayor and council members. I am John Hauser with Wells, Hauser and Schatzel, the independent auditors for the city of Oldsmar, and we've completed the audit for the fiscal year ended September 30, 2014. The comprehensive annual financial report that you've, I understand, received by PDF email, pretty voluminous report, and our independent auditors report, a separate communication is called required communication of those charged with governance. But the gist of the report is that the city implemented no new accounting standards at 9/30/14, which is a first in like the last 5 years. I think they've been coming out every year, it seems like. But we were pleased to report there were no disagreements with management. We were provided all our requested documentation, and all our inquiries were responded to adequately. We proposed no audit adjustments. There were no misstatements that we identified within the financials. We encountered no significant difficulties in completing the audit. Good report. Our independent auditor's report is at page 1 within the CAFR. His report's dated February 5th, 2015, and expresses an unmodified opinion on the city's financial statements. Three other reports. Report on internal control and compliance. We noted no material misstatements, no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal control, nor any instances of non-compliance with laws, regulations, contracts, or the grant agreements. Then we have a separate report in accordance with OMBA 133, and that's due to the funding that you're receiving on the Oldsmar Parks Trail. Federal funding over $500,000 requires specific compliance procedures be applied to that grant. We noted no instances of non-compliance as it relates to that. We've also issued a report in accordance with the Auditor General of the state of Florida, applying specific procedures, which include looking at the investment policy, the investments of the city, as well as financial condition assessment procedures, and we noted nothing unusual and no reportable items as it relates to that. We've also issued a report for Pinellas County ALS, the Advanced Life Support, in regards to the EMS funding, and no instances of non-compliance there. And you've submitted a report to the Federal Data Collection Agency clearinghouse related to the federal funds expended by the city. And that form's been accepted now by the Audit Clearinghouse and pending approval, but it should be fine. I'd like to thank all the staff for their time and effort while we were here. We were here probably for about 3 weeks performing our procedures. Once again, they were very responsive to our needs and provided us everything we needed to complete our audit. There's two primary statements. They're called the government-wide statements in the CAF, are called the statement of net position or your balance sheet. Overall, the city's assets total a little over $114 million at the end of 9/30/14, whereas the liabilities were only $17 million, leaving net position of about $97 million at the end of 9/30/14. The total assets increased about $3.3 million or 3%, and the primary areas of increase were in capital assets, 1.1, and then cash investments, about 2.3 million. Total liabilities decreased 100,000. Debt was down 800, and accounts payable and accrued items were up about 700,000. That's due to ongoing capital projects within the city. In the net position, the unrestricted portion is an idea of the liquidity of the city. Within the governmental activities, it was about $5.8 million, and that equates to just about 6 months of expenditures, 5.59 months of expenditures, and that's an improvement over the prior year. Over the past 5 years, the mean of that's been 5.32, so it's increased and improved. And the business type activities, the water and sewer related funds, the unrestricted portion is about $3.6 million, and that equates to about 4.5 months of expenditures. But once again, that's an improvement over the prior 5-year mean, which was 3.1. So improvements in both of those areas. The city adopted a resolution, a fund balance resolution, whereby the city's to maintain an unassigned fund balance of at least 15% of the current year's budgeted expenditures, exclusive of capital outlay and transfers. And at the end of 9/30/14, that was almost at 25% of those budgeted amounts. So you far exceeded that 15% requirement on that. The statement of activities shows the cost of operating each area within the city, and then offsets those costs with the program revenues, charges for services, operating grants, and capital grants. Overall, the total expenses of the city actually only increased $12,000. Total expenses were $22 million, so that's pretty much keeping expenses in line. So the net program revenues increased by around $300,000 due to capital grant receipts, but the net cost of the total programs was paid for not by the program revenues, but offset by your general revenues, your taxes, So overall, there was an excess of revenues over the expenditures citywide of about $3.4 million for the year. They're divided between the primary government, the governmental activities, and the business type activities. And in the business type, you have the water reclamation, the reverse osmosis water treatment plant, stormwater utility, as well as solid waste. And the water reclamation, as well as the stormwater utility and the solid waste, showed losses from operations. And these are supposed to be self-supporting activities where you generate user charges to cover the cost of operations. But the sewer rates increases are in effect. Commercial garbage charges were adjusted, and those have been increased as of October 1st, 2013. And there's currently a stormwater master plan to look at the stormwater rates in the city to see if those need to be adjusted. If anyone has any questions, I'd be glad to try to address them now.
Thank you. Any questions?
Great job.
This all sounds great.
Great
Thanks
job.
again for your effort of your staff and your firm, and I assume you packed up your sleeping bags and tents and things, and see you soon, right? Is that how this normally goes?
It's almost time for another round.
Right, and again, you know, what you do is report what our staff does, which is an excellent job with our numbers, and thanks to Al and his staff, and of course our city manager that really make us look good. And I mean, I don't think a lot of cities can say that. So
Yeah, you know, when we get this kind of reporting and these kinds of results, for there to be no adverse events, no adverse results, anything along that lines, the significance too of the economic strength of the city, you know, who knows? Maybe we'll issue bonds in not too long to build parking lots or something.
yeah, it's
You know, and it makes a difference. And so I just wanted to make a point of commenting to the staff at the outstanding job and execution. Spent a lot of time going through the detailed report. Just terrific job.
And I think to follow up on that, Eric's exactly right, and I don't think we have an appreciation for what it means of what he said. But the reverse of that is, if there were some errors or problems, it would be a mess, you know, and depending on what it is, obviously some things can be straightened up, but, you know, some cities go through that and that's not the case. And how many years is this in a row that we've had no real errors? Do we know?
Yeah, it's been for the last 3 years that I can recall. But yeah, very professional staff. Like I say, they keep impeccable records and makes my job a lot easier too.
Well, thank you, and thanks to the staff. If no other questions, I need a motion to accept. Need a second? Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, item 14, consider adoption of Resolution 2015-11, authorizing agreement with the Florida Department of Transportation for closing railroad crossing on Exeter Commerce. I think the council's aware this is part of a multi-phase project culminating in an additional or a new railroad crossing on Burbank Road and the construction of Burbank Road. This grant is in the amount of $404,433 to cover the city's share of the intersection improvements on both 580 and Tampa Road, which are required as part of closing the railroad crossing right across the street from us. I'll read the resolution by title only. This is Resolution 2015-11, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, approving the local agency program agreement between the State of Florida Department of Transportation, FDOT, and the City of Oldsmar, numbered 43430815801, authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement on behalf of the city and providing for an effective date hereof. That is the reading of Resolution 2015-11 by title only. I recommend its adoption. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to respond to those.
Thank you so much. And as we've discussed, the benefit of this is that we get another crossing. The secondary benefit of it is that these crossing gates then move to Forest Lakes Boulevard, which is greatly needed over there, especially with the amount of pedestrians that travel that route. Any other questions? If not, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, the next item, approve amendment to grant agreement with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection for Environmental Education Center. The amendment only changes one thing, and that's the completion date of the project and closing out the grant agreement. It's extended 90 days to August 9th of 2015. If you have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to respond to those. I recommend approval of this first amendment to the project agreement between the City of Oldsmar for the Mobley Bayou Wilderness Preserve Environmental Education Center and the State of Florida Department of Environmental Protection.
If you have not been back there, you need to do so, both residents and council. We were back there when we took Commissioner Long, and it's really coming along. And if you get out and walk inside, it's amazing to see a 10,000 square foot structure with no support beams in the middle of it. So it's going to be something great moving forward. I see a lot of great events going on out there. This is really kind of a housekeeping measure. If there are no questions, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Trying to let
Motion and a second.
Solar panels on it, man.
All in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0. And to that point, I think I talked to staff about that. You could put solar panels on there, but those, the roof is tongue and groove and would not support them on the roof itself. They would have to be put on the beams that are there.
So where are they gonna put them?
Well, you could put it on the roof, but the weight could not be on the actual roof. It would have to be over where the big cross beams are, because the roof itself cannot support that kind of a weight. So, but it is definitely something to consider. Passed 5-0. Thank you, sorry.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The next item, approve renewal of joint use of facilities agreement with the Pinellas County School Board. This is a 5-year agreement. The current agreement expires actually this month. The renewal has been approved by the school board. It provides that both the city and the school board agree that to allow each other use of facilities. Basically, we don't charge each other unless an employee is required for whatever use you might use. We have taken advantage of this in the past. It's not a regular occurring activity, but I think it works to the mutual benefit of the public and both agencies. So I recommend approval of this renewal agreement with the school board for joint use of facilities.
Any discussion on this item? If not, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, the next item, select colors for painting of the City Hall exterior. There has, well, it was probably as far back as when the current year budget was put together, but previously, when the council discussed painting City Hall, there was, I think, agreement or consensus among the council that it wasn't going to be white. So there were some suggestions proposed that were included in the packet, but Councilmember Norris has, I know, some other comments that she wants to share about the.
I would love to. I worked on matching colors that were going to be nice and contemporary and bring it into more like the millennium instead of being old school colors. These renderings don't show it as well as I would like to see. The first two are too dark, and the last one, it's hard, Adam, it's hard to put the colors that I have on the sample boards onto a computer thing.
Yeah.
So what I would like to propose to you guys, if you don't mind, like if you guys like the greens better than the turquoises or better than the grays with the turquoise, if it were, like, say the second one, which is the turquoises, which really goes well with the reds, it really goes well with the tiles, and it really goes red with the surrounding colors. My proposal is to lighten it and to show you guys how it's actually going to look, because I think that it's a bit too bold, the body color. I think the trim color is beautiful. Trim color also accents the tiles nicely, but I think that the body color is too dark. But that's my opinion, and I want to hear what y'all think too.
Are we calling these 1, 2, and 3 for discussion?
1, 2, and 3,
Okay.
yeah. So
Well, 1 and 2 look the same almost.
1 is a green and
One's
2
a
is a
blue.
turquoise.
But very similar, yeah.
Very similar, but the same problem with both of them. The trim color's perfect, but the body color is showing up way too dark on this rendering. Okay, so that's 1 and 2. 3 is the most conservative of the 3, which I would want to darken just a bit, but not to the point where it's as deep as 1 and 2. My other suggestion, which we talked about but didn't end up in the rendering, was going with the third tone in the squares to give it some more interest.
Yeah.
So
I was kind of thinking the same thing.
I'd like to hear y'all, what y'all think
Y'all?
about the basic colors that you like, 1, 2, or 3, and then I would like y'all to give me the opportunity to tweak them and show them to you in real time, like on a board or on the building.
Well, I like 3.
Okay?
I like 3 too, and part of the reason I do.
You like 3, 2? Make up your mind. Which one do you like?
Who's on first?
Yeah.
As well.
I like 3 because of considering the surrounding area, the chambers, because we're not talking about painting over here. And so I think it just would make it a better blend.
Okay.
But, you know, when I built my house, I literally painted it all one color. So I may not be the guy.
And which one what do you like there?
Gabby, I let her add.
Gabby?
So Eric makes a good point about the buildings that we're in right now. They're more of that cream and beige color. I personally don't care for the current municipal building colors, which is that traditional gray, because it is
Right.
kind of boring. But all the other buildings are still that color, so I don't know if we need to go as bold as the blue or the turquoise. But I agree with you in maybe darkening that one slightly and then adding an accent color to tie the teal more
And we
into
still
it.
have the teal on the trim in number 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But I think a third color that's a little bit darker.
Third color in
yeah.
here, like on this face and on these, and
Yeah.
these squares.
Yeah,
The whole
something
face
that will
there
bring
and then right
the
here.
teal together with the gray. Yeah. I don't
Okay.
know what color that would be, but
Well, I want to show them to you in real time instead of on here.
Yeah, you know, and the
Yeah.
other thing to consider too is looking ahead, Market Square and kind of the whole area.
Yeah.
Makes it probably blend with more, I would bet it'd be probably somewhat neutral.
Well, not new construction. New
No.
construction's going with color. Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I
by
mean,
the time that's built, we'll probably be due for a new paint job.
easy. Hey.
I hope not.
Not too.
So what do you think, Mayor?
I mean, unless 1 and 2 were substantially different, they just appear too dark to me.
They didn't come out the way I had them. This is
And-
not what
and
my
I-
board-
and I
this is
appreciate-
not what my boards look like.
No, and I appreciate that, and I know that it's very hard, and we've talked about this before, that it's hard to, even in my neighborhood,
is.
you know, looking at them on a computer, this computer and that computer and that computer can show 3 different things. But, I mean, unless they're substantially different, I'm in favor of also item 3. I kind of mentioned in just when I was talking to Bruce, I was curious if the entryway, if I was looking at this, if the darker could be used on that and reverse the diamonds on that, just to give it a little bit of a contrast.
What now?
On this thing right here. I was looking at this.
Yeah.
And just, because you've got so much white across here, if you could almost,
Not white. It's
or like a
yeah.
cream,
Yeah.
But, you know, do something like that where this thing then becomes kind of the accent color with the reverse.
That's exactly what
Is
I'm
that a-
talking
is
about.
that primarily a
I'm talking
gray?
about this,
That's becoming the
this,
trim.
and these.
Yeah, and-
Making all these
The
a
background's
mid-tone.
the same
Like
color.
darken this a little bit.
Right.
Okay? Then go
need cream.
just a few shades darker. So you have 3 tones.
Right, yeah.
So you've got the lightest, this mid-tone in here. That's going to really make things pop. But this is perfect.
Yeah.
The trim color being the aqua, the turquoise, I hope you guys like it because
Yeah.
it's perfect.
I mean, I think if this was, just my opinion,
Yeah.
if that was a different color and popped out, because it's 3-dimensional, that would be
I
kind of
agree.
cool.
I think that, this, and this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Linda, is that primarily gray, the body color? Is it like a gray tone?
It's not really.
Is it
It's
like,
not
has it got a
gray.
hint of green in it or something?
It's got a little hint, because I wanted to keep with the tropicals to match with the pink and to match with the green that was across the street.
Could we
So
do cream in the mid-face to tie in these buildings across the street?
we could.
I think that could be.
I mean, I guess what I'm hearing is 1 and 2
know more
we're
about
not,
paint than I do, but.
unless I'm hearing
I
different.
picked the colors and I did color boards, you guys, and I'm telling you, those aren't, it doesn't show
Well,
what
you're
my
bro-
vision
Can you
was.
email us PDFs?
Well, yeah, but they're not,
Well,
you need to see them in
You gotta
person.
see them in real time. You gotta see them on the building. That's what I wanna do. I wanna
these are
put
too
them
dark.
on the building.
This is 3. I think we say 3.
Yeah.
Three, but tweak it.
Yeah, and if you want to bring the color boards for this, so we just can see them in real time, that's fine, but I think the work really probably is, we're hearing is on this one to
Hey, Linda?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay, so. This is the one you, oh, and I also did, this is the one, I also put what color the stone is.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's it.
This is the one you guys,
Like,
Okay,
see,
so
this
it's
is
more
way different than.
Yeah,
it is.
This is greens, so the
So,
computer
what's in your hand, what's in your hand?
doesn't
Is
do
it-
it justice.
Which one is in your hand?
It's his computer rendering of,
No, no, but
this
what,
is more
no, you're
it.
that, what is,
yeah.
that's your,
Number 3, the computer rendering of 3.
okay, but those are the colors as we see them in your hand, right?
Yeah, but like I said, it doesn't look like the,
No, but I mean, at least we can see the real color.
yeah,
Where-
see how
where
much
is this color
lighter,
here, this-
see how much lighter the color was that I picked for number 1?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see
A
it.
lot lighter.
It is a lot. I still don't know that it's.
Still too dark.
It's still too
Yeah,
dark.
still too dark, but I wanted to show.
And not
Where's
enough
number
con-
2? Where's number 2?
And not enough,
2 is actually this one.
okay, yeah, same.
Still is too dark for y'all.
Not enough
All
contrast,
right,
I
so
don't
y'all
think.
like number 3.
Yep,
Tweak it, do a third tone. And then I'll do a bigger color board so that you can see them.
perfect.
And then I'll put them on the building. How about
Where
that?
is this color in the picture?
Here. So it is more of a
Okay,
green.
okay.
Yeah.
Green.
How about this color?
This color here, I wanted to show you the color of the roof.
Oh, okay, that's
You
the
wanted to make
roof.
sure you can't see the roof in here, but you wanted to make sure all the colors,
And this color is the pillars.
that color is the pillars. And there's nothing we can do about the pillars or the roof. So you just wanted
have
it all to.
I have a question of the council is, now that we're seeing it here compared to this clearly doesn't look as green. Do we like the amount of, how much green?
I'm okay because it's kind of got a bluish green in it, but
Yeah.
I think if you threw a cream or something
Cream.
in more neutral.
For the
That-
fourth or
yeah.
Something.
accent
But
color.
honestly, I think you won't know till you slab it on a wall
Yeah.
up there. That's what every homeowner does.
I-
What I need to do is I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna darken it up a little bit. I'm gonna do a cream to tie in, like, because I do like that idea that
Yeah.
you'll have to tie in this building right here with that. Then also, another thing that's nice about this one is this is very close to the color of the awnings on the buildings over here too.
Yep.
So that ties it in.
Yeah.
Perfect. Excellent work, thank you.
I also did some design work that I thought,
What'd you draw?
Smiley face?
yeah, I don't know if the camera wants to catch it. I think it should be considered.
Sean?
Oh, can we do like our,
Catch
Because
on.
we're happy.
But see how pretty the turquoise is?
Yeah, I love it.
The
Or we could put our
turquoise- but see
faces
how it's
in the-
different? It's just, this is not what I visioned. Okay, sweet.
perfect.
Very good.
Thank you for your
So
efforts.
when do you need this by?
Tomorrow. We're going to Home Depot to get paint, or Lowe's, whichever.
Do I have till the end of the week, or do I have when did
Well, you're not bringing it back till next council,
Oh.
right?
Can we wait until next council to have them approved? All right, well, then I'll have the boards, but I'll go ahead and put them up on City Hall before the next council meeting, if it's okay with you that I do some samples right on the wall.
It's okay with me.
Okay.
When will the painting be done? I mean, when will it be finished? October, November?
I don't know, is it gonna be that late?
Sooner?
Summer, isn't it?
Good. Okay.
Was this your favorite, Thielen? The lightest, yeah.
Well, it's nice to see.
He loves those bold.
But Marie and I were really trying to go bold, but they just turned out too bold.
I think they're fine on a house
Yeah.
because it's a smaller, once you get larger,
Yeah.
Yay.
Place great. We had a house in our neighborhood that looked like a Reese cup package, brown and orange.
When I do sample colors for people, sometimes I put up 25, 30 colors sometimes. We really tweak it to make it, so hitting it the first time is not easy.
Yeah, oh no.
Right.
And to answer your question, no, my HOA was not happy about it, and I felt bad for the guy. He did it while his wife was out of town. He came home and painted it and had it done, but it was, it looked like a Reese cup.
Did the HOA make him paint it again?
Yep, they had to paint them again. They had to
Because
repaint
when I
it.
paint in your neighborhood, I go into those books.
Yeah.
I don't go off those books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't, and you can't set precedent. So thank you again for your efforts on that, definitely. Anything else?
I just wanted to mention, it'll be on the agenda for official approval, but I think everyone is okay with scheduling the council planning conference on Thursday, May 7th. So we're gonna proceed with that.
Yep.
And we'll finalize that at the next meeting, but that's like 99% certain that's the date. And we, of course, are coordinating all of the people who attend as well as the location and the facilitator. But plan on Thursday, May 7th for that.
Perfect, thank you.
We have Marilyn again?
I'm done, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. City Clerk?
I don't have anything.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Relay for Life? Come by our booth?
Beautiful life, come by our booth. Lots of stuff going on. We're going to build hope.
Explain for the mass public that's watching why they walk and what they get and how it helps.
Well, it's free.
Right.
And when you walk.
Why they
you
walk
just-
for our team and what you do.
Well, what we do is we build necklaces. So for every quarter mile you walk, you get a free bead to add, and you add these necklaces, and you pick out the colors, and then you donate the strands that you made to our team, and we build these larger necklaces for people who are fighting cancer.
And the interesting part, I think, and you still do it this way, is you don't know who you're walking for. And what's interesting and I thought was kind of neat because, you know, cancer doesn't know who it's attacking, so you don't really know who you're walking for. So it's kind of a neat thing. So you're not picking somebody to walk for, you're walking to cure cancer for whoever has it. So I think that's great. Thanks for your efforts. City Council, report from Councilmember Norris. We talked about that earlier. You want to do a little bit more work on it, and so we'll move that to whatever
We've got
meeting.
a lot of presentations tonight.
That's
so-
fine, and I want you to be able to have the time to do it and do it right, so you can coordinate with Bruce when you're ready to do that, and we'll get it on the agenda. Next is selection of a representative to the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council, TBRPC. I have my suggestion, I thought, and have had discussion with this. I'm already on the PSTA. I believe Linda's on a board.
Couple.
Yeah, and so I know he's the newest member, but I believe also, have you served on it? Did you serve on it before, or you've served on it?
I was on a PSTA board before.
PSTA and things like that, and I thought, and if it's acceptable to him, I would like to see Eric serve on the TBRPC, and again, he's kind of got some of the experience of those types of boards, so I don't know if Eric would want to do that. I don't know if council has any objection or suggestions, or anybody else wants to raise their hand.
Do you want to do it, Eric?
Sure, I'd be happy to do it.
Well, then
Can
I
you do
agree.
it with the meeting dates? That was the
Yeah.
conflict I had was
It's
Monday at
difficult.
10 a.m. I can't do
I
it.
can make it work. I just have to plan for it
Yeah,
accordingly.
and they're pretty regular. I mean, like me with the PSTA, although I'm on the legislative thing, which, you know, has other things. But, you know, once you kind of know that it's set, if you have a conflict that's locked in, there's nothing you can do, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think the expectation is something that we talked about when we were all campaigning. But the one thing that I think a lot of our citizens perhaps don't realize, and that everybody who serves on council, in order for Oldsmar to kind of keep integrated into the county and the state, and we all have extra duty that we really expected to pull. So
Sure.
I think it's a good thing.
Yep. Well, if nobody objects, do we need a motion?
Yes.
Motion to?
So moved.
No, second?
Oh, a motion to elect
I say,
Eric.
well, I say, do we have a motion to elect Eric? I can't make the motion, but second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes 5-0, thank you. Next is council comments. We'll start with Councilmember Norris.
Just a couple things tonight. I wanted to, I want to thank Jerry Beaverland and Wanda Beaverland and some of the firefighters for some help that they gave me, so they will know. And I wanted to tell Lynn how wonderful the new trail extension. I guess it's been there for a few months, but I've been riding my bike and using the outdoor gym equipment. And to let everybody know that if you haven't done it yet, that there's outdoor gym equipment at places like Veterans Park and some of the parks that people know about. But when you go off-road and you go down around by the boat ramp, and then you go onto the new one, well, is that just called a new section? Right. You go and it's absolutely beautiful. It's all in the woods, and it's wide enough, and it's got seats and everything else. But there's all along the path, there's outdoor gym equipment, a rowing machine, all different things. And it's awesome because you can just do it at your own pace. So I didn't even know it was there until I started going on it. So I just wanted to let everybody know it's really nice. And then I also actually kayaked for the first time on our paddle trail. And right at the boat ramp, I saw Don, he was up there. If you go in right where the boat ramp is, and there's little markers all the way, so you can't even get lost. So there's just a lot of things that when I didn't have time, I didn't even know about, and I didn't do it. But now that I'm doing it, I just wanted to bring that up. And I just wanted to say also how wonderful the Oldsmar Days festival was. I went around and tried to talk to all the vendors, and there was quite a few new vendors that had new things, and that was really nice to see. New food, new things for sale, and so I went around and tried to talk to all of them, but it was wonderful. And that's it. I don't have a whole lot.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
We may need instructions at some of those exercise equipment because there is one contraption at the Veterans Park that I have no idea.
Which one?
This
one?
No, that one I feel like is the easy one. There was one weird one that I was like, how in the world would I even get started with that one? So I'm gonna have to look into that one a little bit more. Maybe I can come over and ask you, Lynn.
Well, there's instructions,
Did we hook up a remote cam to that one so we can watch?
Well, were the instructions, the instructions weren't always there, were they?
Is Gabby all tied up in the thing?
No, okay, because I swear that I went and there was no instructions and I'm like, I cannot figure this out.
So you've been doing it too?
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Just a quick reminder, so the following meeting, I will not be present. I am in New Orleans for that week for a Cisco conference. As Jerry mentioned, we had a great historical walk. We were so surprised 33 people came out the day before Easter. So luckily we had great weather, and thankfully for my neighbor, Joyce Winfield, her late husband Dan had donated a microphone to the Historical Society. So we had the microphone and we did the whole tour, and everybody loved it. And I think primarily most everyone was Oldsmar residents. And the good thing is we didn't do a ton of promotion on it. So that means people are reading the newsletter and potentially watching the council meetings, so that was good to know. Relay for Life, I won't be present this year. I have a charity gala for the American Heart Association that afternoon, so I will be at the Heart Association gala.
Equally good
Tampa.
cause.
Cancer Heart Association, that's good.
Equally good cause.
And, lastly, there was in the Sunday paper an opinion column from the St. Pete Times, which I thought was really interesting. So if you don't read the paper regularly, I encourage you to look it up. And it talked about how the amount of money that the state pays to private lands to store our water resources, and the lesser costs if we actually stored that water on land that the state owned. It was a difference, I think, of like $70. I mean, Lisa probably knows the specifics. I see you over there nodding your head. But it was shocking. I guess it was really surprising that I didn't even realize that the state was paying this kind of money or paying it to private companies or private lands to hold water when we have plenty of public land that could be stored on.
That's
So
interesting.
it was a really interesting editorial column from St. Pete Times. So I just wanted to encourage people to look that up. I thought that was interesting, especially because water conservation is such a big part of legislature. So, and that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Saraki?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have much, but I just want to tell you guys a short story about Darlene. Isn't she a little spunky guy?
Yeah,
She's
catch
awesome.
on.
Isn't she?
Like one of your relatives.
I was like, where did you, where?
Moved into Eastlake Oaks in October of 1995, and like 3 weeks later, in January, she moved. No, it was like I think it was like right before Christmas she moved in, and she was the greatest neighbor. She was always friendly, but we always went and did our own thing. And then when I started getting involved with the HOA, I said, I got to get Darlene involved. And she just came in and she took over the whole block party thing, and she got all the neighbors together, and she's just great. And I'm really impressed with her presentation. And Jerry, you too, you did a great job. Thank you so much to both of you, and thank you for you guys showing up. The Oldsmobile Club is here. You guys are fantastic. Thank you. I'm just really proud of all
So
the
Darlene read the
volunteers.
Saraki book on enthusiasm and awesomeness and catching on?
No, she got it from me. I think she's got it by herself.
You gotta have that. You're born with that.
She's
Yeah.
got it. And then the other thing I wanted to share with you is I went for my first ride-along with the Sheriff's Department. Have you guys done that?
I haven't yet. I've got my
paperwork
application.
right here, actually.
Did you do that?
No, I want to try to do the helicopter.
It was
Going
incredible.
straight to
I went
the
with Officer David D'Angelo. He was driving, and he had a teammate, Jason Howard. It was like, I don't know if you guys ever watched Hawaii Five-0. You ever watched that? So we pull up, and they're like staking out this hotel, and they're like, we're gonna get this guy. His car's backed in, and they just arrested him, and it was just a really...
Clarify, that was not in Oldsmar.
It was in Palm Harbor.
Yeah, it's those Palm Harbor
It was
people.
Palm Harbor. But it was just an exciting day. So I love that so much that I signed up for the Sheriff's Citizens Academy.
That's awesome.
Nice.
And I started last week Thursday. I don't know how they got me in. The place was packed. I got in, and I'm loving that. So I'm busy.
Good for you.
That's it. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Councilmember Seidel?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are you going to comment later on the letters coming in? Because I had mentioned to...
Feel free. Go ahead.
I'll let you, because you have actually taken some action on it.
Yeah, I mean, that's
So
fine. I
when it
can.
comes to you, if you will, I'll cross that off my list. And thank you to the council for your vote of confidence to serve on the Regional Planning Council. I'm honored to represent the folks here in Oldsmar. I wanted to ask Deputy Long, if he would, for a moment. I know we've had some feedback from some of the citizens in Gull Air about the trail going behind their home. And I think it might be beneficial if perhaps we can ask Officer Long and our resources there to go look at, are there some options for us to consider in making the area more secure from after hours? I think overwhelmingly what a lot of it is out there are kids who are hanging out there, but some of them have apparently become quite disruptive and almost aggressive in some ways. So
Good.
I don't know if you have any thoughts or
I know
comments.
you rode the trails the past couple of weeks, a couple of
For
days.
the past month or so, we've been riding the trails and the parks pretty heavily on our ATVs, concentrating a lot on the trail behind Gull Air. I've talked to Miss Jane Sakuna. I think she's a neighborhood watch person at Gull Air, and I told her any problems that they see, call the sheriff's office. One thing I think some of the residents may be doing is calling her. If they see something, they call her and let her know what's going on, and then in turn she may call us. But by the time we get there, the problem is gone.
Sure.
So what our next tactic is probably going to be is that we're going to be doing some evening time hours out there on the trail. We're going to be there, but we're probably not going to be seen. So we may probably start from 5 to 11 o'clock or so at night.
You dress up as a bush or something?
No, we'll be in our Class B uniform, but we probably won't be seen. Kind of off in the bush somewhere.
That's
so
good.
we can address the problem, if we see something out there. Of course, we're gonna it's gonna be random nights that we're gonna be out there, but the residents who live out there, 24/7, they're the ones who see the problems. And normally when we set up on a surveillance or something, it may be rare that we catch anybody out there. So.
Sure.
I ride my bike at night there, before dark.
Yes, sir.
And I really try to keep my eyes open for anything going on. I've seen nothing. I'm just
I
riding.
think in talking with some of the neighbors out there, I think what it is, prior to the trail being there,
There was nothing.
kids
Right.
hung out over towards the park. The trail became an expansion and a cooler place to hang out, I'm guessing. And so to some extent, and I think that's part what we're dealing with, and I'm not trying to completely put you on the spot. I mean, I mentioned to you earlier that I was going to mention it, but if you could go look at it and maybe have some discussion and, come back with some thoughts if you have some that go beyond what you just mentioned.
Yeah, the time that we have been out there, we haven't seen anything like trash or open alcohol containers or anything like that, unless it's already cleaned up before we get out there. But we haven't seen any juveniles out there.
And the best advice for the residents out there, if there's someone out there that's being, disturbing or
looks questionable or, yeah.
right, call the
Sheriff's
sheriff's
office rather than calling Mr. Coon, who's the
Yeah, because if she's not home,
watch.
time passes, yeah.
How's the lighting out there?
I was wondering that.
We need some solar powered
Well,
motion floodlights where
something
when
like
people
that, or
walk
maybe
by.
you put some
Nobody
security
hangs out in front
cameras
of a
out there that, are surveillance type stuff. So, I think ultimately,
Once they get
Kids
caught,
move.
they're going to move,
you
right?
know what?
They migrate.
I mean, you don't want to go out there arresting a bunch of kids, I don't think, unless there's, some real reason to. I'm not pretending to apply the law, but, at the end of the day, it's certainly something that we should invest some time into trying to address.
And it's probably going to go down too, because I've just now started riding my bike on the trails for the past 10 days. So it's been 4 times. I've run into 2-3 times. And just in the times, the hour and a half I'm riding my bike. So
Well, Golair probably called right after you were out there.
Right.
Heads out there.
Yeah, they probably did.
There's that rowdy one again.
There's that crazy redhead.
Went 2 nights in a row.
But thank you.
I did.
I apologize for putting you on the spot like that, but I do appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay. And then Oldsmar days. Sorry I couldn't be here. I had made a commitment to take the family away after running office. It was a nice trip, but I heard from many people that it was spectacular. And I was receiving texts while in Puerto Rico. We're parking at your house. Expect a bill in the mail. I don't know. We'll put it towards the fun. But I heard it was good. And I couldn't quite understand the email because I wasn't there. Bruce, I think you forwarded on from SUDA about, was it the teens, the kids?
The float?
Well,
Float?
Miss Suda's dancers, the people that are in her dance class, they do a float every year. And this year they won the youth, it was the best youth float in the parade.
Ah, cool. Well, kudos to her.
Yeah.
Do you know, how many of you realize who designed the current logo?
I know.
It was Suda.
Suda.
Yeah, we always have this conversation, but. And I promised her I would say it on council, so just living up to reminding everybody, but I think it's cool. Outside of that, hey, catch on.
Catch on, good
All I got.
job.
That's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I don't have a lot. First and foremost, I'm not able to be there, but my mom turned 75 this weekend. So
Oh, wow.
I tried my darndest to get up there, but I have a lot of previous commitments. But I love you, Mom, and happy birthday. I did buy her a gift, but really didn't put a lot of thought into how I'm going to get it to her. And I won't say what it is because she may watch this, but so I got her something else already, so I will probably hold that till Christmas when she drives down and she can strap it to the hood of her car or something.
You're a good son.
You're giving her the Slurpee Mountain.
Yes, the Slurpee stack from my house, yes. I've had it bronzed, and
She'll put her next to your baby shoes.
and I just wanted to bring this up, and we'll figure out what to do with it. We went to Tallahassee as a legislative group, and had a great meeting. And one of the things that we talked to a lot of different people, and Senator Latvala is probably vying and real close to becoming Senate president. A little bit of opposition, and that's what I was going to tell you about. And we talked about how we could help him. And he said, the vote's in October, and the vote is among the Senate, and, believe me, it's a political machine up there, as you know, when you went to Washington. And I called Jerry the other day, because Jerry, I know, was Jerry Custon was putting together a letter, kind of thanking everybody for taking the time to talk to us. And so I called him, and because I had an idea, and I said, we have two senators in the area, Senator Latvala and Senator Brandis, both that, pretty much represent Pinellas County. And the one thing that I found when we went to Tallahassee was that Senator Brandis, bless you. Senator Brandis was not one of the supporters of Senator Latvala for president of the Senate. And I think there's various reasons. I don't really want to get into them. And you know how politics are. And so what I had called Jerry to ask him to do on Senator Brandis's, and we're going to try and share that, and maybe the council can sign it or what have you, but I've asked him to, and he put the draft together, is to tell Senator Brandis that while we appreciate coming up there, also we appreciate that you and Senator Latvala may not see eye to eye on all items in Tallahassee that come before you, as we don't see eye to eye on everything here. But both of you represent the people of Pinellas County, and having said that, we feel that having a Senate representative that's the president over Florida, regardless of any friction between the two of them, far serves us better as Pinellas County, including his constituents and Jack's, and that we ask for his support and put whatever friction they may have between them aside. And because it's going to, whatever, and as Jerry said in the letter, the Senate president wields a little bit more power when it comes to approving legislation and bills and things like that. So while I appreciate the friction between them, I would like to have his support. So having said that, if you ever run into him, I know we go to different functions. I go to a lot of mayor's council things, and we're going to author the letter. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to be disseminated. Maybe get it to the chambers. I'll try and get it to the other mayors, but really not putting the pressure on him, but explain that by having him president, it's far better than having the president of the Senate be from Ocala or, Orlando or any other part of the country. So on this particular issue, I'd like to see them come together on that. So hopefully we'll make some progress on that and get Jack into the Senate. So he's in the Senate, but get him approved. So other than that, I don't have anything else. I need a motion for the tentative agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Second, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.